This is First Coast Math Clinic with Lesson 3, Reading Decimals, from our Foundational Skills videos. So the goal in this video is to identify decimal place values and read decimals using the correct place value. So reading decimals correctly can sometimes be a challenge. So I want to go through the decimal place value and how to correctly read a decimal value. So let's look at some of our place values first. So let's start with this number. So we've got 9,876. So we know our place values, right? That's 6 in the ones place, 7 is in the tens, 8 is in the hundreds, and 9 is in the thousands. Well, we're concerned primarily, well, what about if we have values to the right of that decimal place? So we've got some decimal values. So let's say we've got our values 5, 4, 3, and 2 to the right of our decimal. So we've got these 4 values in our decimal position. Well, that 5 is in the tenths place, 4 is in the hundredths, 3 is in the thousandths, and 2 is in the 10,000ths. And what I want you to pay attention to is that ending, that TH, tells us that our place value is a decimal place value. It's to the right of the decimal. Okay, so if our value ends in typically like the D, thousand, hundred, it's going to be to the left of the decimal. If it ends in the TH, right, tens, hundredths, thousandths, 10,000ths, it's going to be a decimal place value. So these are the the names we're going to be using: tenths, hundredths, thousandths, 10,000ths, and we're going to be using, in particular, paying attention to the rightmost place value to name our decimal. So let's get into some examples on specifically how do we read our decimal using our place values. Okay, so for number 1, we've got 0.2, but how do we read that using the correct terminology? So 2 is in the tenths place, so this is going to be just 2 tenths. And for number 2, we've got 0.034, so that 0 is in the tenths place. We don't care too much about that tenths place because we have a 0 there, but the 3 is in the hundredths. And then the 4 is in the thousandths. So what we really care about is the rightmost place value, thousandths, okay? So that's what we're going to use to name our place value, and we're just going to read our value from left to right. So this is 34, so this would be 34 thousandths. So we're reading our value from left to right, 34, and we're picking up the place value from the rightmost place value, the rightmost place value from our decimal, which would be thousands. So 34 thousandths would be how we name this decimal. All right, so what about number 3? So we've got 3 as our whole number, right? So we're going to start with 3 and for the decimal. Now that 5, that's in our tenths place. And that 1 is in the hundredths place. So again, we're going to group these numbers together. So this is going to be 51, and we care about that rightmost place value, so hundredths. Okay, so this is going to be 3 and 51 hundredths, right? So we're picking up that rightmost place value, hundredths, and we're grouping these values together. So 51 hundredths is how we're going to read this. All right, let's get into one more example. All right, so for number 4, we've got 1,253 to start, and then we got the decimal, so that's going to be and. Now for our decimal to the right of the decimal, right? So for our place values, right, that 4 is in the tenths, 7 is in hundredths, 8 is in the thousandths. So we're going to kind of combine this, read this left to right, 478, and then pick up that last place value, the rightmost place value, thousandths. So this is going to be 478 thousandths. So we're going to combine this, so this will be 478 and then thousandths, which is that rightmost place value. So that's the place value we're going to use to read that decimal. Okay. All right, so this was a pretty quick video for lesson 3, reading decimals, from our foundational skills video. If you like this video, leave a like, comment, and subscribe. First Coast Math Clinic.